Welcome to today's webinar. I am Vamsi.
I am Anand. Good morning, everyone. So let us see a lot of good mornings in the chat box. Oh, so many good morning, Vamsi.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Thanks a lot for joining us on this Sunday morning. Right? It really it shows us that you are really serious.
Yeah.
About getting into IIT or NEET. Right? So I think there is a lot we will cover today. All right, and as during the course of this webinar, we'll be talking a lot about what it really takes. All right, in terms of the attitude, in terms of the schedule, in terms of the whole approach, right, which is required for you to get into or crack these competitive exams, the biggest competitive exams. So today's session is going to be really fun and interactive, but more importantly, it would be a lot of informative, right? So I would really encourage the students to probably keep a sheet or a copy and just take some notes, right, or some of the important points, right, which you might get during this course of the talk. And most importantly, this is not any subject related. So that is something which I wanted to clarify right at the beginning. It's not any subject related. It's more around the approach, attitude, strategy, and the more importantly, the whole mindset which is required, to crack this.
Yeah. So basically, apart from hard work, which is definitely required, there are a lot of strategies because we being teachers ourselves. So we have been teachers for 12 years, and we had the privilege of teaching almost like 20,000 plus kids among ourselves. And among these 20,000, there are people who has got rank 1 this year, Sarvesh, right? So he got rank 1, and I was the teacher of Sarvesh. And before that, we had the privilege of teaching rank 6, rank 7 as well. So this whole talk which we are going to do is based on our experience when we were students ourselves and when we prepared for IIT. And more than that, what we have learned in the last 12 years by teaching these kids, right? That has taught a lot, and therefore we want to share those experiences with you today, right?
So Anand, before we begin, what we would like to quickly do is take a quick poll of all the audiences we have with us today. I am currently looking at more than 400 students attending from across the country right now live with us. So good morning to each and every one of you and welcome to today's talk, right? And what I would like to quickly know, we would like to quickly know is what is the composition of the class today, right? So guys, I'm going to launch a poll in which we are going, it's basically around which grade you are in. So kindly mark the grade, in which you are relevant to the options given, which will help us, suggest you or probably, talk to you in a much better fashion.
Yeah, because today's session is helpful to all those who are in 10th standard as well as 11th as well as 12th. So basically, it will not be helpful for those who are writing the advanced exam currently. So if there are any students who are writing the exams currently for advanced, I think this is not the right session, right, Vamsi?
Right.
It's only useful for those who are who has moved to 12th or those who are in 11th standard or those who are in 10th standard currently. So let's have the poll and see how the class says, right? Okay, so let's have the poll. Let's see what's the composition of the classes. Okay, so almost everyone has voted now. So we'll close this poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we are closing the poll. And Vamsi, let's share the result. Right. So amazing. So 12% are 12th passed students who have just passed out 12th or those who are appearing for JEE Advanced. So I don't think it will be useful because what strategies we are going to talk will be more like a 1 year or 2 year strategy, right? And therefore 10th moving to 11th and 11th moving to 12th is a healthy composition, Vamsi. So it's 86%, 85%.
Right, amazing. Right. So guys, I think you are the perfect audience. What we will be going to talk today is going to be ultra beneficial, right? And this is something which you will not find in your standard books or schools or wherever, right? This is going to be really, really, really critical. So I really would encourage all you students and parents who are attending this session, okay, to take notes. And I also see in our question box that there are a lot of questions being asked, right? So guys, as I can say that there are more than like 400 now, almost 500 students who are attending it. We might not be able to address each and every question you are asking during the session. So please let this talk progress as we have planned, right? And there are a lot of things which we anyways want to cover, which most of the times would take care of the question you are asking. But in case it doesn't, at the end of the session, we are going to give you 5-10 minutes wherein we are dedicatedly going to take up audience questions and going to answer that. All right, guys. Okay. So till that time, if any question is coming, just keep it with you. We'll address it later. All right.
Sure.
Okay. So we are just going to share our screen now. All right. So that you will be able to see our screen. So Anand, obviously, 7 is just a number, and there are lots and lots of things which are required to crack JEE, right? So before we begin, we just would like to quickly introduce ourselves here. So as as I think we already told, I myself am Vamsi and he is Anand, right? And so I did my BTech from IIT Bombay, all right? And not just that, after that I've been in teaching field for over 12 years now. I've had the fortune of teaching thousands and thousands of kids. I think I've mentored and taught more than 10,000 students now, right? And we have the fortune of teaching some of the kids who went on and got single-digit ranks, right? As you can see, Shubham, Himanshu, especially were students who I taught from their 9th class onwards. So I've been interacting with them from their 9th standard onwards. And Sarvesh was a student of Anand, and Anand has been teaching from his 10th standard onwards. Anand, right? And it's not just guys, we are not going to talk about only toppers, okay, today, right? That is not the purpose of the session. We are going to talk about the experiences of teaching all these guys and having seen what has worked and what has not worked, and basis that we have tried to come out with certain things which are very critical and essential for any student or any aspirant to crack a hyper competitive exam like IIT and NEET.
So basically, using these tips that we are going to share, definitely our purpose is that you reach your potential, because more than this getting top ranks or something like that, our major goal in these 12 years has been making sure that student reaches their potential, and whatever lies in that potential, maybe it the regional colleges or the IITs or the top colleges of the country. So we will make sure that you reach to that particular goal, right?
So on that note, let us begin, Anand.
Sure.
Right. So the first and foremost, so by the way, it's not majorly any secrets or tips. It's more around strategies, okay, or directions. So the first and the foremost tip which we would like to give all the aspirants, right, and the foremost thing where we have seen maximum amount of them falter is this.
So basically, maximum people falter between the transition between 10th and 11th, because till 10th, we have a typical way of studying. So there are only few students who go and visualize till 10th, because it's more like a rote learning in which you have to reproduce things. Because board exams and competitive exams are completely different things. In boards, you require to reproduce things, right? Whereas in competition, you require to visualize things, you require to go in deep of things, and maybe not by remembering a lot of concepts, but by applying a lot of things, right? You do things differently. So we'll just take this point in detail.
Right. So adding on to that point, as Anand very rightly said, boards and the competitive exams, the whole attitude and the approach is completely different. And that's the first point there. Boards are typically around reproduction, right? What you have studied, you just need to reproduce that in your exams. And that's how you have been studying, 10th board or whatever board you have written. It's basically that. But competitive exams is not at all that. Competitive exams will simply involve your application. Right. And application is not just, reproducing what Newton's law is. You would be given a numerical in which you will not be given direct values. Like, you all know force is equal to mass into acceleration. So don't expect in a competitive exams, you will be given force, you will be given mass, and you will be asked to find acceleration. That never happens, right? The question will be twisted in a way in which you will be forced to understand all the concepts of the chapter, and then only you can apply. And that comes also through practice, right? So a probable question can be that there is a body of mass 10 kg which has changed its velocity from 10 meter per second to 50 meter per second in 5 seconds, right? What is the force on the body? So suddenly, now this is not like this is given and I can find it. You need to apply it, right? And you need to know how to apply this. So that was just an example, right? Yeah. But I hope you got what we're trying to say.
So basically, especially for the parents and those who have just moved to 12, so basically 11th, so they have 2 years only. Yes. For those who have just moved to 12, they have experienced their 11th and sudden drop in their percentage from 10th to 11th. So 10th May they used to get 9 CGPA, 10 CGPA, but suddenly 11th what happened was they were struggling to get even 70%, right, in their school exams. Now this happened with me, and my parents started telling me, "Beta, तुम्हारे board में marks नहीं आ रहे, तुम्हारे competition में कैसे होगा?" So all these things starts troubling you, right? That I was a 10 CGPA guy, and suddenly what has happened? I'm not able to get 70%. So just trust me that it's basically there are two things. You are always in a conflict between application and reproduction, right? And you tend to do things little bit differently, little bit like 10th, little bit like 11th, and therefore you are confused in between, right? And therefore, those who are actually preparing for competitive exams, trust me, your inclination towards competition should be more as compared to your boards in this 11th and 12th, and towards the end, obviously, it will happen towards boards, right? But I think basically you have to focus only on application, right? Now, the second point, which is very relevant, second point says that, and this is very important about boards and competition, that everyone for boards who is preparing for boards can get 90%, but not everyone who is preparing for competition will get selected. And there is a huge difference between these two, because there is a fixed seat which a competitive exam will allow. For example, IIT, out of 15 lakh students, only allow 15,000 students to be admitted to different IITs, various IITs. Whereas in boards, you listen that there are a lot of students who are above 90%, right? So everyone can get that, because anyone who has learned that concept, remember that, can get to that particular percentage, right?
Exactly. So the guys, the main motto of this, tip is, we have seen people, students who have managed this transition of 10th moving to 11th. The guys who are able to manage this transition successfully have a huge chance of actually going on and actually clearing these competitive exams. Okay. And when we say transition, we are actually talking about that 3 to 6 months time horizon. So in some of the cases, it starts in April. In probably South, it starts from June, right? The schools, right? So if till October, like, broadly, if you are able to manage the transition and not give up during that period, right, there is a very high chance that you will actually go on and get selected in this competition.
We'll come to that point,
right? Yeah. Exactly, right? So that's the most important thing which we want to take, home, right? And this was exactly, what we were talking about. Right. And that brings us to the tip number 2, which is sustaining the motivation and the drive till that October-November period and not giving up, till that time. Because I think, Anand, more than what we have seen is more than 70% of the students, right, give up just before this October-November time only, right? And forget about them, being of that capability or not. They simply give up and they are not even in the race, right? So one of the biggest tip from our side, especially to 10th moving to 11th standard students, is don't give up, right? At least persist till October, November, and then if you want to give up, right?
But you will not, definitely. If you are able to persist, then there is a huge momentum behind you and you are able to sustain it in a 12th also.
Exactly. Right? So let's understand, Anand, why do students give up, right? So when we say that, students give up and all, let's understand why do they give up. One of the foremost reason behind that.
Yeah, so basically I covered in the previous section that till 9th and 10th, you are used to getting huge percentages. But competitive exams typically are of that nature where application is asked and your percentages in competitive exams or in your coaching institute suddenly drops to 30 to 40%. And you say, what is happening with me? I was getting 90% or 100% or 95%, and suddenly I am seeing only 30-40% marks. So I start feeling that, oh, other students are getting 70% or 80%, and I start losing hope because we feel that we are lost out of the competition and we can't do and we can't, reach to that particular level. True. And that's the major reason why you give up, right? The second most important is the struggle between school and competition preparation, right? It takes too much out of you, right? Because there are a lot of students who are not going to school, but there are a lot of students who go to school and prepare for the competitive exams. And then that brings up the challenge that how to manage between the school and the competitive exam. And that actually is really taking a lot of toll on most of the students to balance, exactly manage their own time, because till 10th they used to play a lot, they used to prepare for the school. Last minute preparation also used to fetch that many marks, but here last minute preparation will not fetch that much marks. And therefore this struggle, someone who actually overcome this struggle between school and competition definitely will cross that hurdle. And obviously the last but not the least, but you are not used to application based problems till 9th and 10th. As Vamsi has already told, that till 9th and 10th we are used to more like rote learning, and we try to reproduce things, right? Because school exams ask these kind of questions and we try to reproduce the whole thing, and therefore we are not used to the application. Just say F is equal to MA, you are used to writing F is equal to MA, and if F is given, calculate A. If M is given, calculate the rest of the things. But here applications are asked, and therefore we these points led us to give up easily. But trust us, as Vamsi has said, do not give us till October and November, and you will see the magic. Right?
Exactly. So that would be our tip number 2 to all the aspirants over here, that don't give up and at least persist till this time, right? October, November. And believe me, students, we are talking all of this from experience, right? None of it is something which is just, we are just telling you. This is an experience of teaching more than 15,000 students between us, right? And we have seen this consistently working. So please, make a strong note of that and hope this serves as a guidelines for you, right? Okay, so moving on. Okay, the other one which we wanted to cover is tip number 3, and which actually answers most of the questions which I have seen aspirants asking us, right?
A lot of questions are there in the chat box also. So yes, Vamsi.
Which is quality over quantity, right? So tip number 3 is you should always optimize, always optimize quality over quantity, right? Now, how does that translate into? Okay, so let us move further. So the one foremost mistake which we see aspirants doing is, all right, they will do questions, right, by skimming. And this is the same practice which you get from your board examinations, right? In your board examinations, you basically skim. Skim is in the sense you just look at the solutions, right? So the same, habit, comes into 11th and 12th, right? You think that, oh, if there are so many questions, I can't cover all the questions. So what I will do is I'll simply take up the solved examples, right? And I'll simply skim through them.
Right.
So how do you skim? You look at the problem. You don't even think much about it, right? Then you look at a solution. और solution देखने के बाद लगता है हाँ ये आता है मुझको, ये तो मुझे आता है, this I know, right? तो okay, next चल लेते हैं, right? This also I study, or this also I know. And after doing those 100 questions or whatever skimming, you basically get this sense that you have now learned the chapter, or now you can do all the questions if it is asked in your objective exam in the chapter. But my dear students, you are very far away from the truth, because when you go and sit in that exam, I'm telling you, you will not be probably getting a lot of questions right, because that skimming is not teaching you how to think about solving a problem on your own, right? Looking at a solution is the worst thing you can actually do, right? And obviously we are not saying don't look at the solution ever, right? And we'll also come down to that after what time and how much time should you give and all. But this is one of the very common things we have seen students doing, right? Right. And let us ask this, Anand.
Right.
And honestly tell us how many of you actually do this, right? Just say yes or no in that question box, chat box.
I have the poll.
Right. Okay. Let us take a poll, Anand. Right.
Definitely.
Right. So lot of saying a yes and no, but let us launch a poll.
Right.
So we are launching a poll, guys. And honestly answer this: how much time do you give to a question or a numerical before looking at the solution? Right? Honestly, very honest.
So we have lot of votes coming. Almost everyone is voted. So now let's close the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Once we close the poll. Okay. So let's see the honest answer.
I think we have been pretty honest here, Anand.
Yeah. So 84% students say that they look at the solution just within 5 minutes. Right. 10% takes 1 hour, and only 6%, and 6% I definitely feel that they never look at the solution. Right. So it's an honest, I think, honest poll.
Yeah.
Definitely, students, thank you for this honest poll. And what we are saying is true. And most of the time when parents come to me, and we have been counseling a lot of parents as well as students, they tell ki mera bacha to is like is doing a lot of hard work but still not able to get above 30% or 40% in competitive exam. So I then go and probe that and finally find that major thing lies over here. Even for maths, subject like maths, you just flip the pages. Like look at the R.D. Sharma thing and just flipping the pages, looking at the solution, and you feel that you know the question.
So right? There's one habit you need to change.
Right.
From today's session, it is this, and this will have the highest impact, believe me, right? It will not feel comfortable at the start. Not at all. I mean, trust me, it will feel very bad, in fact, at the start. But you have to do this if you want to clear those competitive exams of yours, right? Now let us take a step further and tell you why is this habit so bad, right? And by the way, this habit is not for anything and everything. We are talking majorly for the application-based stuff, right? I think and competitive exams is all about application-based. So I think only barring few chapters and biology, zoology and botany, and probably organic and inorganic chemistry,
right,
where skimming has its merits, right? Rest all, physical chemistry, entire physics, entire maths, if you're doing those numericals, please don't skim, right? That strategy is very bad, right? And Anand, let's also give them a neurological background to it, that right, why it actually doesn't work. So actually there is a lot of research and study on this, students, and if you want, you can actually Google it and also learn on it on Wikipedia. The fact is very simple. When you don't know a concept, right, for your brain to get that concept, wiring has to happen in your brain. And wiring ka matlab kya hota hai? Neuron connections has to happen. If you don't exert the brain, neuron connections don't happen. So when you skim it, what is happening is memory is happening, right? So basically when you skim, what is going in your brain is memory. So memory aa jata hai. If that same question comes in your exam and if your memory is very good, you will be able to do it, right? But never will it happen that the same question will come in your JEE Mains or a NEET or JEE Advanced. Never, I mean, never it is going to happen. So what you need to instead learn is not reproduction, which you normally do in your boards, right? That's why this happened. You need to learn application. And application means when you actually solve that problem on your own, take 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, solve that problem. And when you get it, that gets reinforced in your brain. That neuron connections become strong. And when you do that, like 5 questions, 10 questions and 20 questions, that concepts become so strong that no matter what other question comes related to that concept, your brain is able to solve it. And that is exactly the way to learn application-based problems. Right?
You have to practice.
Right. Now, when you do this, the next big question which would obviously come up, and before you asking, we will tell you that sir, if we do like this, we will not be able to complete our assignments, books and chapters. Right? That's obvious, right? So my dear students, we never recommend you, and that is why this point, quality is important over quantity. So you just probably do the second point, it is written, right, Anand? You do this 10 questions, okay, properly, okay, that is more than like this 10 questions if you do yourself is more than sufficient than doing 1000 questions, like 100 questions we need, 1000 questions and skimming it by looking at solutions, right? So don't, if your entire book is not getting completed, don't worry, right? Do your thing, probably do 10 questions in a day, but do it yourself, and believe me, it will have a huge impact, right?
Definitely. So basically, we'll reiterate only because this is one of the most important points that the people who get to these ranks like Sarvesh and all, initially he also had that habit of skimming, and in 10th standard, I looked at his the problem. I felt that he has the capability of getting into top 10, but with this habit, he will not be able to. So what we started doing is we started giving him problem which cannot be solved in even 1 hour, right? That single problem of maths, because we started preparing him for maths Olympiad, and that single problem used to take 4 hours, 5 hours, and 6 hours. And he used to get irritated at times because he felt, yaar, koi solution kyun nahi bata raha? And typically for those kind of problems, you don't find solution anywhere. And because of that, he started, building that stamina, building that, confidence that he can actually look for that question and sit on that particular question for 4 hours to 8 hours. And that helped him a lot in 11th and 12th. Because
also builds concentration.
Definitely, stamina, concentration.
So this point which Anand just made is very important point, guys. Stamina and concentration, right? That is something which is critically important for you guys.
And that actually started building him, and we started looking when he was in 11. They started progressing. The same thing started reflecting in physics, chemistry, maths. He never used to, simply take answers from the teachers, and he used to go and derive that, right, on his own, until unless he found that confidence. Now I know each and everything of that question.
Exactly.
Right, and that is very important. And
very important, and
leading to the third
point, which again is, I don't know why. I mean, this is something which I see 99.9% of the guys doing, students doing. They will purchase one book, then they will go. They will ask some other teacher, sir, what book should I buy? He will say something. They will buy that. Then they will go to their friends and they will say, oh, you are doing from here. Oh, okay. It means I am missing out on something. So I'll also buy this book, right? And then you will also probably see something else somewhere, get attracted to that, and you will buy that. So essentially, at the end of this 1 year or 2 year preparation, your cupboard will be loaded with books, books, and books. And trust me, you will not even have completed one book fully.
Right? Yeah, and sometimes what happens, this tendency also comes into practice because they go and give a test in competitive exam, and they feel, sir, ye wala question na, ye question is book se aaya hai. And because this question has come from this book, I purchase that book, and next time in the test, the question comes from another book.
Right? See, guys, simple solution. If you can tell me where will the questions from JEE Advanced will come, right? Then I will say, leave everything, right? Leave everything, right? All the gyan we are giving you, forget about it. Just buy that book, okay? And just have fun, right? But unfortunately, that is not possible, right? No amount of effort can achieve that, right? Because there is no book from which JEE Advanced questions are made, or JEE Mains or NEET exam questions are made. So, better strategy is take one book, go to your teacher, whoever you trust, and he or she will be able to tell you that, right? Or your seniors who have done it, right? In fact, we have a webinar, interview of Sarvesh, which Anand has asked, and I have moderated that. You can find that on YouTube, right? Which books to follow, and in which the toppers have told what books to follow, and you all would know, like if you go to your teachers. But take that 1 or 2 books and then do it completely and thoroughly. Finish all the questions from that book. After it is finished, and if you still have time left, be my guest.
Yeah, then you can do a lot of books. Basically, completing gives you confidence. Just remember this: completing one thing. Because I know that 99% of the student Vamsi, I'm not kidding. 99% of the students, they don't complete even a single book by the end of these 2 years.
Seriously, right? That's so bad.
So right? Only 1% student they complete at least a material or a book, and that's the selection ratio in the country is only 1%. Just remember that. So competition is very less, guys. If you only focus on these points, you are there in that 1 or 2%, and then you fight between these 2% guys.
I think all the points being mentioned here are super precious, guys. Right. And I really hope this all you start implementing it. Right. Okay, don't think of it like a movie. Okay, you came on a Sunday morning and you're watching it like a movie, and like you get inspired and you go home and you forget about it. Then it would be 1 hour of us wasted, right? And also yours wasted, right? Please implement it. This is very, very important.
And a lot of students are asking the question about books. So Vamsi has said that go on YouTube channel of Vedantu, and you will find this particular question that I have asked from Sarvesh, Shubham, AIR 6, AIR 7, AIR 1, that which books to follow, and they have answered it properly, right? So I think you will get the answer there. And the fourth point is revise by doing more questions rather than simply repeating once before. So Vamsi, you want to focus on that point?
Sorry, we skipped that. Sorry. Yeah.
So basically revise by doing more questions. So what Vamsi has said, that in IIT Advanced or JEE Mains or NEET, the questions are not repeated. And because questions are not repeated and you're repeating the same question again and again, will not lead to anything else. So if you have completed a particular set of questions, I think move to another set of questions for revising. That's how you will check your application. And that's why tests are made. So basically all these tests, they never should be taken to test your ranks, because most of the parents and students, they feel कि मेरा rank पीछे आ रहा है and I should not give tests. Tests are just to revise the questions that you have practiced and whether you have learned the application or not, right?
Great. So guys, many stuff to cover. So going on, right? The next tip is so I don't know whether tip 3 is more important than or tip 4, right? Both can compete with each other, but I think very, very important tip number 4.
So as we progress till tip number 7, I think every point will keep on, it will look like that every tip is more important than the previous one, but every tip is very important.
Yes.
Now,
at least you should be lucky there are only 7.
So this I will like to take, Vamsi. Focus on self-study, guys. So Vedantu is online platform, and basically we have felt that rank in any competitive exam, it's not boards I'm saying, but in any competitive exam is directly proportional to the amount you spend in your self-study.
So Anand has made a law out of it actually.
Right?
So I call it Anand's law, Anand's rank law. Okay, just kidding. Okay, but it's almost like that. Okay, rank is proportional to self-study. Just remember this.
So wherever we have taught students, whether at Vedantu now we are teaching students or in our offline center where we got this rank 1, 6 and 7, what we have actually asked the teachers to teach less and give more time to self-study, because the more a student does the self-study, he is able to explore things. Then he has more time to actually give on those 10 questions, right? And he is not losing his confidence. He is like not panicking that I have 100 questions left, right?
Anand, see, basically, so guys, the basic logic, okay, is again the same logic which I told you where I was telling you about that question application. How does that get embedded into your head, right? It is through practice. And if you don't practice, like, how will you practice? You will only practice if you have time, and that time is your self-study time. So if you don't find that time, you won't practice. If you don't practice, that concept will not be embedded in your head and you will not be able to solve the question. It's very simple, common sense actually, right? But unfortunately, majority of the students feel what? If they have enrolled for a coaching center or a tuition center or whatever center, right? You feel, oh, purpose is done. Some of the students I've seen celebrating that. Oh, I've got selected in this coaching institute. Now the IIT ho jayega. Hey guys, I mean, come on, right? That is just a sort of like a coaching, right? And like any coaching in sports, it's basically you who have to do it, right? And don't think of it that if you're spending that 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours in a coaching institute, and by spending that time, it is sufficient for you to clear an exam. I mean, you cannot be further away from truth. That is absolutely not the right way to think about it.
Especially in metros, I see a lot of problems, especially while commuting between their houses to the coaching institute. They waste almost like 2 hours, Vamsi. And 2 hours means monthly. If I talk, it's like 20 to 24 hours you just waste on traveling from one place to another, from your house to your institute. And actually, that time can be utilized in self-study, right? Yep. So we'll come to that.
So the simple answer, so simple question you are asking, many of you are asking, so that what should be the amount of self-study time? See, again, it depends on, the tip number 3, quality over quantity. So if you are giving 3 hours of quality self-study time, it is more than sufficient than probably 5 hours of distracted time, right? But for all practical purposes, we say, especially when you are in 11th standard, at least have 4 to 5 hours of self-study. At least start with that, and then slowly and steadily increase it to 7 to 8 hours of self-study as you progress to 12th standard, right? And while you are just near the exam, it has to be even more than that. But this is at least a bare minimum which we recommend, right? But again, guys, it is about the quality of that. also, right? It is not just, you're doing distracted stuff. Okay, so please find time for that, and this ranks highest, right? Even if you're compromising on your school, doesn't matter. Even if you're compromising on your coaching and all, doesn't matter. But if you compromise on your self-study, no matter the best teacher in the world also cannot get you selected in IIT. And please, just take it as a, you know, a, a note from our side, right? It's a fact. Take it as a fact from our side. Okay. So very important point, students. Make a note of it. Okay.
And the second point is about balance. As Vamsi has written, balance is important. So balance means, and we have all been a sufferer of that while preparing, we choose our favorite subject. So suppose someone's favorite subject is physics, someone's favorite subject is maths, someone's favorite subject is chemistry, and most of the time chemistry gets ignored, right? Which is again, as just remember, you are fighting for a rank, and rank means every mark counts to get that rank. And one mark of a chemistry is equivalent to 1 mark of maths and physics. And therefore, you do not have to fall in the love with the subject, but you have to get a rank, a decent rank, and for that you have to actually do justice to each and every subject.
Exactly. Very important. Okay, you are not here to become PhDs of any subject, at least in 11th and 12th. You have enough time for that. So don't unnecessarily prefer only one subject, because that becomes a loop, right? 1 mark is 1 mark, as Anand said. So please have that balance. More importantly, going ahead, I think the third is almost equal to the self-study thing. More time you give to yourself solving problems and tests, the better it is. Okay. And again, it is basically the same point around self-study. Now, guys, before I go ahead, let me also ask you, and a very honest question again. I want you guys to answer it again honestly. We are going to launch a poll in which we are going to ask you, how much time do you currently give for your self-study? Okay. So I'm launching this poll, and please provide an honest answer. Honest answer. कितना टाइम अभी दे रहे हो आप सेल्फ स्टडी के?
And self study does not include the coaching time.
Yeah, self study is your time, not coaching time, or tuition time, or school time, whatever. Okay, all right.
Chalo, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Vamsi, close. Yeah, let's share the result. So 50% of the students are giving less than 3 hours, Vamsi. 41% is 3 to 6 hours, which is a healthy time of self-study, yeah. Right? And 9% is greater than 6 hours, and that is almost similar to 6% there who said that they do not give up on question, right?
Exactly. Right. So the guys who are doing that 9 hours, sorry, 9%, I'm sorry, 9% who are giving that 6 hours and more, super awesome, keep that up, right? But rest of you have to come to that 5 to 6 hours mark, right? You have to, right? And then slowly and steadily develop that and improve that over.
So it's not easy, said and done. And I'm saying when you give self-study, it should be distraction free. You should not be chatting at that point of time, because most of the time I see we are doing that and listening to a song. We are doing that and then chatting with our friends. So all these things, when you count it as self-study, I don't count it. So for us, self-study is your books, your teachers, or basically your books, you and nothing else, right?
Absolutely. There's just one question which is very interesting, Anand, and I would just like to take that for the benefit of the entire group. It's asked by Manasvi, right? She is asking that, sir, I have 60% in 11th. Will I be able to crack JEE? Okay. So let me tell you, Manasvi and all the other guys who are watching this, I had 63% in maths in my, not 11th, 10th class. Okay, in 10th class I had, okay, 63%, and you can laugh all you want, right? Go ahead, right? And you should, right? But the important fact is, if I can go on and got a rank in IIT Bombay, why can't you? Right? Absolutely you can, right? So absolutely you can, don't even think about it, and all the best, and you will do great, right? So continuing with it, I just wanted to take that up because I felt it's very important that everyone hears about it. Okay, so going on, students, with our flow, right? Another fourth point I'll cover on the balance. School exam, boards versus competition. Whenever you get a conflict on this, always prioritize competitive exams, because board examinations are not going to get you into a top tier college, right? It's essentially a competitive exams rank which is going to get you there. So whenever you need to prioritize in 11th and 12th, especially in 12th, right? Prioritize your competitive exams. So that's also an important thing around, focus.
And always remember, there are only few exceptions which you hear. Most of them are rumors that वो competition की तैयारी कर रहा था, उसके board में भी number नहीं आया. It never happens. So 99.9% of the students who are preparing for competition, honestly, they score decent marks in their board exams, and therefore you don't have to worry about that if you are preparing well, because if you are focused on your basics, board asks the basics.
Board हो ही जाता है यार, हो जाता है. अच्छा guys, before we proceed, चलो, lot of stuff we are talking and telling and all. Tell me honestly, is it benefiting you? Is what you are hearing is helpful or not? Yes or no? Tell me.
You or no?
Yeah, because it's important, Anand, what you are telling, because they are coming on a Sunday, morning. So guys, is it beneficial? Are you having some benefit from it? Yes. Okay, amazing. Chalo, great. So Anand, I think then we should continue.
Yeah, sure.
Otherwise, I was planning to close it down. Okay, just kidding. Okay, I kid a lot now. Don't take it seriously, because any which ways you guys are so stressed, no? So we have to make some fun. Otherwise, you'll be ultra stressed. Okay, anyways. So tip number 5. That's Anand's favorite tip actually.
I have seen a lot of students ignoring the tests, and trust me, this takes your rank. So basically, you don't know also how many ranks this, if you don't appear in tests, take away from you, no matter how good you are. So I will take a lot of examples, because there are numerous of examples who actually run away from the test because मेरा syllabus complete नहीं हुआ है. मुझे लगता है if I actually give that time to test, उससे अच्छा better than that I solve problems, right, in that time. So all these concepts. And third and most important, after test my parents will ask me my rank. So what should I tell them? So basically, because of that, most of the students, they don't give tests. And trust me guys, test is just like a window. For example, a sports person, if he plays, just go on and play his game, he practices a lot, he goes and plays. And what happens is, after play, he never looks at his game, he never looks at the opponent. So he will never come to know about his strengths and weaknesses. And unless he realizes his strengths and weaknesses, he's not going to improve. And that's what happened with our famous Saurav Ganguly, if you have watched cricket, right? He was always like, he used to practice a lot and never used to watch replays. And one fine day, he was out of the Indian cricket team. And suddenly he realized that, oh, I have to come back. And now he started watching his replays and started, okay, oh, my actually opponents are taking advantage of my weakness, which is short ball. And now I should practice. So he actually looked where the opponents are bowling to him and accordingly practiced, and he came back to the Indian team. And this has happened with a lot of students as well. There was a student of mine, he was always getting like 12th or 15th rank at our institute, and his rank would have been 2000 rank in JEE, but he was not giving tests. And once I counseled him, he said, sir, आप तो counseling और motivation के लिए बात करते हो, so I don't trust you कि test देने से फायदा होगा. So I actually asked him to talk to one of the senior who was in IIT Delhi. He talked to him and he said कि मेरा IIT केवल test की वजह से हुआ है, so just give test. And he started giving tests, and finally he ended up getting a rank of 160, right? So from a 2000 to 160 was a huge jump, right? And that's what test can bring you. And test is not there to give you rank. It is there to actually tell you your strengths, your weaknesses. As Vamsi said, it's the best way to revise the questions. So you go and practice the same question rather than go and give tests, right? Because that will help you whether the concepts that you have remembered, you are able to apply it or not, right?
Test is very important, guys. Otherwise, you don't have any, mirror, right? It's a mirror. Think of it as a mirror. Okay. Achha, by the way, guys, I'm getting lots and lots of questions on my question box. I mean, thanks, and really, great to see that kind of participation. But my dear students, as I said, 500 guys, currently attending, and we are bombarded with questions. So many of you have joined in between. So let me tell you, to each and every one of you, we'll be taking questions towards the end, right? So let us cover our flow, and then, you have questions, and 5 and 10 minutes we will give you. At the end, we'll be taking up the questions. All right. So whatever questions you have, apart from the stuff we are asking you to answer, please, keep it towards the end. All right. Okay, cool. So continuing with the test part, right? This is very important. Okay, accuracy over speed. So this is some of the common stuff which I see students making a mistake. They feel that should I focus on accuracy, सही करने चाहिए कि speed focus करो. So always remember at the start, at least at the stage where you are in, it's always should be accuracy, right? So focus a lot on accuracy of getting questions and answers right, okay, in the first attempt, right? Not looking at the solution and getting it right, okay, and focus on accuracy. That would serve you a lot.
So Vamsi, one of the point that why students go for speed is majorly that they feel that by doing lot of questions in the test, they might get a better rank, and that is good to show to their parents or to their friends. But trust me, guys, test in these 2 years, until unless it's a competitive exam, test in these 2 years is only to tell you the third point about your weaknesses and strengths. And therefore, you should be very honest in answering. You should be answering only those in which you feel that you are confident or in which you have already practiced questions on the topics that you have already practiced questions. And therefore, accuracy in these 2 years will help you build your own confidence.
Exactly.
Right? Whether you are getting 30% or 40% doesn't matter at this point of time.
Exactly. So guys, moving on to tip number 6, right? And this I got underscore because coming from teachers ourselves, right? It may seem self-fulfilling, okay, but trust me, it isn't, right? Teacher is a very important factor, very, very, very important factor, and let us tell you why. Okay, typically what we have seen is the trust with a teacher. We have seen many students, they go to one teacher, ask something, the teacher obviously would tell something, but they would not trust that judgment fully. They would, as if we are taking a second opinion from a doctor, right? You would go to the other teacher, right, and ask him the same question, and he or she would reply a little differently. Then you would go to the third teacher and then ask the same thing, and so on and so forth. So guys, see, it's okay to take second opinion, third opinion, fourth opinion. Okay, we are not saying you don't do that, but once you are convinced that this is the teacher who I need to follow, then you stick with that teacher and just follow that teacher only. For each and everything, if you go to 3 teachers, 4 teachers, 5 teachers, right, you have enough stress, you will create even more stress for yourself during these 2 years, right? Trust in a teacher is excessively important, and a child should connect with the teacher. If you have a good teacher, you are the lucky guy. Just trust the teacher and do what he or she says.
Here, yeah, I have a very strong example, Vamsi. Shubham, who got All India rank 6, right? Now, when he started his preparation, his whole orientation was towards getting or clearing maths Olympiad, and because of which 1.5 years from complete 11 and almost like till July August of 12, he did not prepare for JEE. Right? Did not prepare means he did not had this physics or chemistry classes, and he was more focused only on this. When he came back, he said, now I feel that I have given my best in Olympiad, and I want to go and actually conquer this IIT thing. And I told him that it is going to be a tough journey, because whatever students do in 2 years, you have to do in just 8 or 9 months. And what I am going to tell you, you have to trust me blindly, right? And if you are going to trust me blindly, I will make sure that you are getting a rank that you have always dreamt of, which is like a top 10 rank. And our journey started. It was really tough in the beginning because he did not know a lot of things, and we had to actually put up a lot of efforts. And as I said, that there was a connection between him and us, and he started trusting us blindly. In fact, to that extent, you can watch the video on the YouTube and his whole comment on that. But towards the end, his syllabus was not finished. His syllabus was till April. When mains was there, his syllabus was not finished. But he did not lose that hope. He did not go anywhere to ask for another opinion. He said कि आनंद सर ने बोल दिया है, ये तो पक्का मैं ऐसे ही कर रहा हूँ. And his syllabus got finished by 15th of April after his JEE mains exam, and then we started revising. Whereas most of the country, they finish their syllabus by October when they are in 12th standard. And because of his trust on the teachers, he actually did whatever we told him, and finally got an All India rank 6, right? So it is so very important, and we have seen it in numerous cases. This is the top rank because you will resonate, but I have seen students getting 1,000 rank, 2,000 rank because of the trust on us, right, Vamsi?
Exactly. Precisely. So very important point. So please trust your teacher, right? Explore whoever you want. Okay, if you are not convinced that you have a great teacher, I mean, go wherever. You have offline options. We have online options now. On Vedantu, we have teachers from across the length and breadth of the country, right? So teachers की कोई कमी नहीं है. You don't have an issue with finding a teacher. You might have an issue with trusting a teacher. So tip number 6 hence is trust your teacher. Okay.
Right.
And the final one is the most important one, Anand. Tip number 7.
Yeah.
Right. So let's go. And the biggest tip, tip number 7 is this. Okay. Belief.
Looks very simple, guys. Right? And trust us. Trust us. We have seen a city change because of this belief. Right? Vamsi, you remember when we started in very small town Patiala, right? We had odd 30 students there. And it was 2006 when we started teaching, and we were just fresh out of college, and the city had not seen any IIT selections before. And when we started talking about IIT, students started saying, sir, please don't talk about IIT. अगर आप IIT बोलोगे तो शायद हमारा local college, which was Thapar Engineering College, उसमें भी नहीं होगा. So please only encourage about Thapar, don't talk about IIT. But it took us 6-8 months to make them realize that they have potential of getting into IIT. And when they started looking at us and they felt कि sir is just like us. They sir chat भी करते हैं, sir game भी खेलते हैं, and sir has gone to IIT, so can we. And therefore, guys, what has happened that 30 students whom we taught, 11 went to get into top 5 IITs, and thereafter there was no stopping back. And that city now, almost every year 100 plus IIT selections happen from that city, and the city has changed forever. And that started because students, they started believing in themselves, and that is very, very important. We started with the first point, and first step was that do not give up, right? And the last point is you have to believe in yourself and never ever give up. So this is a complete cycle. We started with a belief and we are ending with a belief, right? And trust me, guys, no matter how much your teacher doesn't believe you, no matter how much your parents don't believe you have to believe in yourself. And that is the most important point ever anyone can give you, because once you lose the faith in yourself, you're not going to clear any competitive exam. Right, Vamsi?
Precisely. So most important point, guys, I mean, needless to say, I think not giving up is probably more than 50% of the job done, right? So, and you will get a lot of hurdles, a lot of stress, right? You'll be tempted, very much tempted, believe me. We have gone through that journey ourselves, right? But the ones who won't give up are the ones who will essentially, be in the toppers and probably the selection.
तो एक मजे की बात बताता हूँ तुम्हें बच्चों. 15 lakh बच्चे, 15 lakh students, they appear for IIT-JEE Advanced or IIT-JEE, right? Exam. Only 1 lakh are competing among themselves because the rest 14 lakh students, they had given up in some point or the other during the preparation of these 2 years. Trust me on this, right? तो केवल 1 लाख की competition है वहाँ से, right? और उसमें से 15,000 का selection होना है. So just be there in 1 lakh, your 99% job is done.
So guys, so everyone, are you motivated and will you give up? Okay, will you give up or will you persist? Yes or no? No, you will not give up. Exactly.
Never ever give up.
So tell me this, will your selection happen for JEE or NEET? Yes or no? Anand, what do you think? What do you guys feel? Selections hoga, nahi hoga? Yes? Of course, yes. Of course, yes. So, okay, let me ask a question, Anand. So, I'm launching a poll, right? And again, I want an honest answer, right? How many of you will clear IIT NEET? Come on, tell me. Amazing. Chalo, come on. I can see some of them not still voting. Okay, chalo, 70% of you have voted.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, I'm closing the poll. All right, I'm sharing the result. So, surprise, surprise.
Hell yeah.
90% of you are saying yes, and that's the attitude. You know what?
Yes.
That's the attitude. Okay.
Just maintain that. Yeah.
That's the attitude, right? And you know what? The 10% who are saying maybe. Come on, guys. This session we are not taking for you to say maybe. Come on, you need to get into that 90% bracket, and 100% should be hell yeah. Okay. If so see, the thing is very simple. Okay, if you don't get into IIT, you should think who else would, right? Of course you would, right? And however lame that may sound, but telling you that's the first step, right? And we are examples of that. By just thinking like that only, we went on and cleared those exams. Okay.
So एक example देता हूँ मैं. I went back to my school. I'm from DPS Archepuram, so I went back to my school. After 4 or 5 years of passing that school, and I met my principal then, and he was a warden at my time. I was a hosteler, and when he saw, he said, "Or ye kar raha?" Because he was very close to us, so he was being desi that time. So he said, so I told him I went to IIT, right? I told him I went to IIT, and he said, what? His jaws dropped because he never imagined that I would have ever got to IIT, right? And that is because I always believed in myself. And that actually helped me get into that IIT, toughest exam in the world, although being not very good at academics, right? So it's very, very important, guys. So never ever give up. And if anyone is telling you that you are not going to get into IIT, just
prove him wrong.
Prove him wrong.
Prove him wrong. Prove him wrong. Okay. Chalo guys, on that note, we are still, little bit time left. So okay, give us feedback, because we keep doing these sessions a lot, and your feedback really helps us improve. Okay. Just like we told you, take a lot of tests. This is a test for us. Okay. So so we need to know the result. So I'm launching a poll. Okay. And you need to rate this webinar on a scale of 1 to 5. Right? 1 is poor, you didn't like it, and 5 is very good. Okay, so come on, we'd love to get that honest feedback from you, right? All right, guys, amazing. I think 80% of you have voted. Going to close this poll in 5, 4, 3,
2, 1. Close.
Okay, closing the poll. All right, guys, lovely feedback. I think we would share the result. 60% of you are saying very good, and 30% of you are saying 4, right? That's almost 90%. So thanks a lot for that feedback. It really, means a lot to us. Okay. So thanks a lot for that feedback. Really, important, and thanks for that one. And going back, we have some information, to give you. Many of you are asking in the chat box that, sir, at Vedantu, you said there you are online teachers and all. So how does it work? And do you have courses for us? Of course, we do have. In fact, a lot of courses have already started, and we are also going to launch some courses in the upcoming weeks for 10th moving to 11th class students and 11th moving to 12th class students. Okay, so these are essentially JEE Mains and Advanced courses for the engineering aspirants, and we do have also NEET courses.
So taught by all the teachers who have taught the best rank of the country. So basically, who has produced rank 1, 6, 7. So we will be also, as a part of teachers, will be there, right? And basically, this course structure is very simple. It will start in so April to November and May to November. Those who are in May, it will go till basically this has regular curriculum. The 11th and 12th curriculum will be covered here. The JEE revision will be covered here. The IIT test series will be covered here. And apart from that, lot of modules like we taking these kind of sessions, time management, how to memorize things, and how to apply more, how to you be doing better into exams. So all these things will be there as a part of modules.
Online gives us a lot of advantages. So I think, I don't know, you had been experiencing offline majorly, right? But this is completely a new generation of learning. And I think, this generation is new generation. So I think, we have a very next generation kind of teaching and learning which happens on Vedantu, in which it's a lot of technology which we use. So one of the stuff which happens is 24/7 doubt solving. So all the students from across the country are in a batch, needless to say, and there is a competition not just inside a city or a coaching or whatever. You are competing across the country, right in your batch itself. So that gives a very good competitive feel. Second is, recording of every session would be available to you, right? And of course, study material and handwritten notes of it.
So recording is very important, guys, because most of the offline thing, when we taught, we felt that students were not coming to class, and they used to come after and say ki sir mujhe samajh mein nahi aaya. And for that, every lecture is auto recorded. So even if you miss a lecture by any chance, you can actually go and actually look at the recording. If you don't understand a concept in the class, you can again go back and look at the recording. So this is so beneficial, right?
going ahead.
So yeah.
All right. So guys, this is the link which you can use, okay, to find more details about the course, right? So let me go and type this, okay, and give you, an idea about how to access this. So it is tinyurl.com/JEE
11 course.
11 course. Okay. So if you type that, you will essentially land here. There is a detailed information about the course. There is a video which will explain you about the course. All the details of the teachers who will take the course is also here. Then all the course modules, and more importantly, tests and assignments, how much study material, recording, doubt solving, all the details are here. And in fact, you can actually take some samples and exercise sample, content sample, and also test samples by accessing this page. Okay. Now for the most important part, Anand, especially for the students who are attending today's webinar, we have a special offer. Normally you can avail a session, okay, by registering to this course, and the registration amount is 1,000, which will allow you to get these classes and get this interaction with these amazing teachers, okay, for 1 week. So by paying this 1,000 rupees and registering, you will essentially get to witness all the subjects, physics, chemistry, and maths, by these amazing teachers. We call them master teachers, best of the country, right? And you can actually see how do you like it, how do you like this medium. But especially for the students who are attending today's webinar, we have a special offer, right? Only and only for you. You can avail the same, registration by paying just 99 rupees, which is a lightning offer. But of course, it is only applicable for today until the time the seats remain. Okay, so of course it's limited seats, right, for the upcoming batch, and it's only valid for today or till the seats gets filled up, right? So definitely I would encourage you, all students, to avail and see and witness the magic of these master teachers. They are amazing, believe me, and you should definitely look into this learning. And more importantly, this thing, if you don't like it, is also completely refundable. Okay, so you should definitely try this,
and just show them by clicking it. So basically, if you have to just click it, so and you will take you to the page, right? And you have to choose the starting date. So 21st May is the starting date, 7 to 9 p.m. and you have to just pay and register, right?
So it's a very simple flow, right? And like 2 year for 1 year students also,
just
right?
Sure, yeah.
It's the same. It's a different URL. So
no, same 11 course and 12 course. Just type it. There is a misprint, yeah. So 11 is in between. JEE 11 course and JEE 12 course. So
all right. So these are the two URLs, guys. Okay, kindly note that. You'll also receive that in your SMSs, right? And definitely avail this amazing thing. Okay. All right. Okay. So on that note, we will conclude the session. So guys, all we would want to wish you is all the very best from the bottom of our hearts. And we really follow this a lot. This is old Nike saying, which says just do it. And we really love this because it's so simple, right? It tells you that don't overthink, don't worry about what your parents are saying, friends are saying, relatives are saying. You just do it, right? And if you just have this attitude, right, you will definitely, nothing can prevent you from getting that success in your life. All right. So on that note, all the very best to each and every one of you who are attending. Okay, and do great in life. Right?
Definitely.
So all the very best. Okay, so that concludes our session, and as we promised, we'll obviously be staying back for 5-10 minutes to take some of the questions which you are asking. So now, students, you can post your questions on the question box, right? And we'll be taking some of the very relevant and the common ones. Yeah. All right, students. It's great interacting with you. So rest of you can leave. Those who have some questions to ask can stay.
Saurabh Singh is asking how to study continuously for 5 to 6 hours. Saurabh, as I said earlier, it's very difficult to increase the capacity automatically to 5 to 6 hours. So start small. Start with 2 to 3 hours initially, and slowly and gradually increase that hours to 5 to 6. So it cannot happen that suddenly one fine day I feel that I should study for 5 to 6 hours and I start studying that.
Yep.
So you have to take small steps and build towards getting to 5 to 6 hours on a daily basis.
Exactly. Right? So Bhanu is asking a question, asking that, sir, I am in class 11 and want to crack IIT by self-study only without coaching. Please suggest book for self-study. Okay. You didn't get on YouTube. So guys, it's there on YouTube. You can just search for Vedantu, Sarvesh, AIR1, which books to follow, like that, and you will definitely get that. Okay?
Right.
Right? Sarvesh, Vedantu, which books to follow, just type in that. Or go to Vedantu's channel.
So by the way, a few questions students are asking, who is Sarvesh? So Sarvesh is All India Rank 1 of last year. So obviously this year rank is yet to come, but last year Sarvesh was All India Rank 1 in JEE Advanced. So you can actually look at the tips that has been given by him.
So you can check out Vedantu's channel on YouTube. Okay, right. Subscribe for that and you will get those videos.
Oh, lot of questions. So basically, Ashish is asking that in 11th standard we observed that physics is a limiting subject. What is the tips for getting good marks in physics? So as Vamsi has already mentioned that in physics you have to, or any subject, you have to go deep into the concepts. And physics is all about visualization. So if you actually, so 11th and 12th are very different. First of all, 11th has lot of visualization, whereas 12th you can practice questions and follow one book which is H.C. Verma. I will recommend. And if you follow that book till end, I think you will be able to score very good marks in physics.
Definitely. Right? Jay is asking an interesting question that Vedantu, is it better than offline coaching institute? So see, Jay, and for all the others, obviously, sitting here, we don't want to claim anything because, again, as teachers, we are firm believers that the child should make that decision and should be comfortable with wherever he or she is studying. But what we can definitely tell you is, it's definitely a next generation learning. It is very much different, awesome, and better than what you normally experience. But more importantly, I think you should first experience it and then take a decision. Right. And especially for that, we have definitely told you that we have a special offer for all the guys who are attending the webinar, right? So you can, just by paying 99, you can witness it for 1 week, okay? And then if you like, you can continue. All right, Jay? Okay, all right. Now, more questions, guys?
So one of the students is asking about tip number 1 and tip number 2. So basically, I think you have attended late, Prakash. So I think the recording will be shared with you, those who have attended this webinar. Vamsi?
I'm not very sure about that, but let's quickly show him that because he's asking. So tip number 1 was this: manage transition of 10 to 11th board, and tip number 2 was this: sustaining motivation. Okay, till October, November, and don't give up till that time. All right. Right. So, okay, so that was tip number 1 and tip number 2. All right. Okay, going back. Come on, guys. Any further questions? Yeah, we can see a lot of questions. Okay.
It's bombarded with questions.
So, guys, again, apologies if we are not able to answer each and every question because I can't tell you our chat box is like fully bombarded. Right. We are picking up some relevant ones.
So should we keep the study hour continuous? I think it can be a break. It can be broken into 2 parts, 3 hours each. So basically, anytime when you come to study, you should study for at least minimum of 2 hours, 2-3 hours, right? So that should be a continuous stretch of 2 hours to 3 hours because most of the competitive exams are for 3 hours, and you have to build the capacity to get build your stamina for 3 hours, right?
Exactly, Anand. Sushin is asking a question: how do you manage your additional subjects along with physics, chemistry, maths for boards? See, Sushin, first of all, don't worry about boards. I think one of the tips we told you was optimize for competitive exams, right? Board comes secondary, okay? And how do you optimize? It's okay. You just before the exam, final examination, if you study for 1 month and 2 months, board is not that tough. It will be relatively easy for you to clear it. And even if you get a 60%, 70%, I'm saying even if you study for 1 or 2 months, you can easily get 70% or more than that, yeah. Right? So don't really worry about it. It's not that tough.
So one of the students, his name is not here. So he's asking that can droppers take 1 year long-term course at Vedantu? So for all the droppers, we are coming up with a special course of 1 year because 12th is for 12th standard students. It will start from basics. But dropper will have both 11 and 12 model combined together, and that will be launched in the first week of June.
So Rigved is asking a question, sir, why don't you teach on Vedantu? We of course teach on Vedantu, Rigved, right? Like us, there are hundreds and hundreds of more teachers, right?
Maybe on the pictures is not seen that scrolling, but that picture has a limitation of 4 to 5 teachers. Therefore, not all teachers can come there. We all are part of.
And believe me, students, groups. You are interacting with us. Rest all the teachers are also super amazing, and you should definitely go ahead and witness them in that 1 week's class.
So Shiv, Shakti and lot of other students are asking that 11 concept they have moved to 12, but 11s are not clear. So what to do now? So personally, I suggest that you should be only focused on 12 at this point of time, because most of the competitive exams, 55% are from 12. And first you build your confidence in 12 and finish that syllabus by October end or November mid. Once you finish that syllabus by October end or November mid, then only you should start revising your 11th. Right, Vamsi?
Exactly.
So don't worry about 11, because 12th is certainly, if 11th level is this, 12th level is this, and therefore 12th is easier as compared to 11, and don't worry about 11th at this point of time. Right? So I think
Yash is saying something, how to focus. It gets boring. See, study is always, students will always find study boring, right? So frankly speaking, teachers really do their best to make stuff interesting wherever you are going, right? Be it offline or on Vedantu or any other online, right? But finally, at the end of the day, it's your self-study, okay? Which you need to find that energy and time for, right? And frankly speaking, guys, it may seem little blunt and direct, but 11th and 12th preparation is not for your enjoyment, right? You need to get into this competitive exam, clear the competitive exams and get into a good college so that your life becomes better, right? So it is purely not, for your enjoyment, right? If some of the things you don't really enjoy, like for example, I never used to enjoy inorganic chemistry, but does that mean that I stopped studying it? Of course not, right? So that is the kind of attitude which students need to have, that even if you encounter something which you find it boring or don't like it, your ultimate objective is to get into a good college, and for that, whatever is required, you need to do.
So Likita is asking that, can I get into top 10 in advance by perfect preparation? So there is nothing called perfect preparation. Just enjoy your studies and keep working hard. Definitely anyone can get into that, right?
So
Bhanu is saying that, okay, I suggest that
Bhanu
books.
So okay, spamming us, right, with saying that suggest a PCM book. See guys, it's not very good for us to suggest. I think you should be asking your teachers that, right? But if you generically ask us, I can suggest that NCERT obviously you should have. That probably for physics, it's like either the DC Pandey, HC Verma, or any of those publications which work out for you. In maths, you always have that RD Sharma, right, which is obviously
and Arihan publication books, subjective books are very good there. And in chemistry, it is P. Bahadur, R.C. Mukherjee, or N. Avasthi for physical chemistry. For organic chemistry, it is Himanshu Pandey or M.S. Chauhan. But you have to have one book. Just trust me. And for inorganic chemistry, it is Jaswal. So if you actually have these books, it's all right. You are preparing well. But do not have multiple books.
And most importantly, go and ask this from your teacher.
Yeah.
Right? Where you are studying.
That is
right?
extremely important.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Tejashwani is, how much sleep do you think we need?
So, guys, tricky question to answer. Everyone is made up biologically different. But I think in a generic sense, I think at least you should have like 7 hours of sleep. 7 hours is average, okay? So if you do with 7 hours of sleep, I think that should suffice, right? Don't undersleep. Of course, don't oversleep, right? So if you oversleep, you will not have time for, self-study and all that, right? But definitely don't undersleep also. Many students, they just feel that, by sleeping 4 hours, I can find more time for self-study. But then what happens is quality over quantity factor comes in, so that then the time is not quality time, because you are not fresh and you don't have the concentration.
So last couple of questions before we say good day to you. One, Vasu is asking that I am going to some coaching institute, Narayana, and she is not actually good with organic chemistry, right? So basically, for those students who are already going to some coaching or the other, we also have modular courses in which we take topic-wise things. For example, organic chemistry, physical chemistry, apart from long-term commitment. But that will be month by month. We'll be launching.
We'll be launching that, and you'll be getting notification for those as well, right? Stay tuned for that. Okay, and I'm assuming every one of you might have registered on Vedantu. If not, please do that, and you will get notifications of all these web free sessions like these, and also modules which we launch in future.
Right. And Siraj, last question, is asking that what are the competitive exams other than IIT-JEE? So a lot of competitive exams like BITSAT, VIT, your Thapar Engineering College also conducts a separate exam. So a lot of other exams are there apart from the JEE Mains. But JEE Main is one which has covered the most of the colleges. So JEE Main so JEE has two levels, JEE Mains and Advanced. In Advanced, it covers all the IITs and ISCR and all these IISC. And in Mains, it has covered all the NITs and all the colleges like Dhirubhai Ambani College, triple IITs. So all these colleges are covered in JEE Mains. So if you are prepared well for JEE Mains, you are prepared well for most of the other competitive exams, right?
Perfect, guys.
So we are now will take your leave. We want everyone to come and experience the platform. And if you have any doubts, any questions, you can always come and look for us. My name is Anand. His name is Vamsi. Again, we'll just conclude this by saying thank you for coming on the Sunday morning, taking your time. And I hope the time was useful to all of you.
I really hope so. And please utilize it, right? Implement it more importantly. So on that note, all the very best. Okay. And do great. And of course, quick reminder that lightning offer, especially for the students who are attending this webinar, is live, right? Do use that. It's a benefit we are providing exclusively for you. All right. Okay, guys. Tada. Bye bye.
Take care. See you in the trial classes. Chalo, bye bye. Tata.
Take care, guys.
Bye.